Let's explore 7 little known factors that may impact your ability to form deeper connections, manifest the love of your life, and experience true love when connecting with others, especially in romantic dating, but this applies to every single relationship. So if you are experiencing some kind of closure around your heart and you feel like your heart can expand a lot more and you're calling in deeper, more meaningful, more juicy, sexy connections, if you're calling in your king, your soulmate, your queen, the partner, and the love story that you know is possible, then keep on watching. This video is for you. Before we dive right into the topic of today, I really want to invite you to join our email list, because that's where I'm going to share with you our upcoming free masterclass that is going to support you in building such a deep connection with yourself that you're going to be able to manifest an amazing partnership as well, because you're going to learn how to lean into your feminine, your soft, surrendered, receptive, open self, and to become more and more magnetic. And it's all coming in your inbox very soon. So if you want to have exclusive access to it, just click the link down below to subscribe to our email list so you can be part of the community of being soft, surrendered, sexy, juicy badasses. Welcome back, my loves. My name is Lika. I'm a coach and a mentor, and I'm here to help you live a more sexy, pleasurable, successful life while staying in your feminine, forming deeper and more meaningful connections. So if you like what you're seeing, I'm gonna invite you to join the community, to subscribe to the channel, leave us a review on the podcast. I will be forever grateful. So you're here rocking it, you're successful in many areas of your life, and you are longing, you are yearning for this love, you know, this soul-to-soul connection, that kind of like rocking your world kind of partnership, something that will make you feel so sexy, so juicy, where you can really be in your feminine, in your openness, pour all this juicy love that you have in your heart into a partnership, a place where you will feel held and loved and appreciated, and having just the deepest, most meaningful kind of interactions. We're gonna talk today, and you know, I can't stop talking about love, because I'm obsessed with love, I'm obsessed with dating, I'm obsessed with all this realm. But just know that all of what we're going to discuss today is something you can apply to everything. I'm going to talk about connections in general, but you know me, love. I just love love. I just love love. I've seen it with so many of my clients, so many of my friends, so many of the people I am surrounded with. When we are those strong, independent, hustler, go-getter women, when we have done so much work on ourselves, on a project, a business, a vision that we hold for ourselves, when we are visionaries and we are really deeply passionate, sometimes it gets hard and complicated to actually form deep connections, to have the kind of fulfilling feeling in your heart and in your space and in your experience, your daily experience of something that is shaking your world in the good way. And there are some stuff in the way of that. There are some obstacles that sometimes prevent us from forming those deeper connections, or manifesting the love of our life, or walking the path of true love and commitment, devotion, and all the good stuff. That's what I'm talking about in this video today, so we can identify them and remove them, and then experience the kind of connection we're longing for. I think the first thing that I want to mention is the role of technology. Social media and the screens are phenomenal. They are fantastic. They're amazing. I get to have a job where I work with them. I get to connect with people all over the world. Some of my best friends I met on Instagram. This is amazing. And we get to acknowledge the fact that our nervous system is not built to hold so much information. Think about it. When we were living in tribes, we were not connecting with as many individuals as we can do today. At our fingertips now, we have access to so many opinions, so many people, so many of their thoughts and their energy energies, and we get bombarded with it. We got used to it, so we don't necessarily see it or feel it in the day-to-day, but this has an impact. This has an impact on our hearts. And when we receive that bunch of information, what tends to happen is our heart closing down. So yes, there is also the very known factor that social media and being in your screen disconnect you from people around you and from real connections and kind of put us in a bubble, but that's very known. What is less known is that aspect of having your nervous system so triggered by so much information, so much triggers, that your heart, in order to protect you, start to close down a little bit. The second factor that may impact your ability to form deeper connections and manifest your soulmate can be past trauma or emotional baggage. So yes, when we have unresolved stuff that we carry in our bodies, in our hearts, in our mind even, we tend to have walls and barriers. Every little trauma, it doesn't have to be big trauma, it can be tiny little trauma, stuff that we don't think were important, but they impacted something deeper within us, and it just created this thing inside of us where we started to close down a little bit, leave behind those walls. And then once we have those walls up, it's really hard to break through them, to open and lean into our feminine and trust and surrender. Third factor that can impact your ability to open your heart and receive the kind of love that you're longing for is the fear of vulnerability. And I get it. Being vulnerable is very challenging, because it's that feeling of being completely emotionally naked in front of people. It's super difficult in our society. Now we talk so much about vulnerability everywhere, you know, I feel like social media became a place of oversharing those vulnerable posts and everything, which I'm totally guilty of, so no judgment here. But it's something that lost its meaning almost. What does that mean for you to be vulnerable? I think it's just dropping the armor and showing your truth. In order to do that, you need to be able to access your own truth first, which is sometimes really hard when we have, again, those walls. But just to give you some reassurance, the fear of vulnerability is completely natural and normal, because the fear of getting hurt or rejected or abandoned is so present for so many of us. Again, we're tribe people. We are meant to survive in tribes. So if we're rejected or abandoned, or, you know, like we're not part of the tribe anymore, it's our very own survival that is triggered, that is endangered. So it's very natural to have that survival instinct of wanting to protect and close down the heart, and then keeping us away from actually connecting. Fourth factor is the pace of modern day life. The fact that we're always busy, doing, going, hustling. And don't get me wrong, I am an overachiever. I love to do, I love to take massive actions, I love to produce, I love all of that. But I have to say that traveling the world, you really see, depending on the countries where you go, the pace of life is different. And in the West, in Europe, in the US, we have such a very fast-paced lifestyle. It's always about getting more done, about achievement, about the future, and that creates some disconnect. Because in order to connect, truly connect with someone, you get to be so present and slow down. This fast pace, this hamster wheel that we're stuck in for so many of us is not serving us to actually build those deeper connections. And it's kind of all linked together, because in order to feel safe to be vulnerable, for example, you need to have that time, that spaciousness in order to fully open up. Okay, the fifth one is a lack of self-awareness. If you don't know yourself, how do you want to connect with another? How do you want to connect deep and in a meaningful way with another if you don't first have that connection with yourself? And it sounds so silly and it sounds so simple, but yet it is so deeply important that you build that relationship with yourself first. Knowing yourself, knowing how you feel, what you like, what you don't like, your boundaries, just getting to start dating yourself. When you start dating yourself for long enough, you make more room for you to magnetize to you another partner, because you're already partnered with yourself. So now you get to bring in someone that will give you that extra support, extra love, but you already know what it's like to to be in a relationship. You already know what it's like to date yourself, to love yourself, to make love to yourself in the way you absolutely adore it, to be in your pleasure, to be treated with love, kindness, respect, all the things that you're craving and desiring for yourself. Sixth point is not actively listening. Yes, because we think we're actually hearing or listening to someone, but most of the time there are so many filters between what they are saying and what we're actually hearing. Usually it's because we have our own shit in the way, but also it's because we don't take that time to fully be present in the listening. Sometimes there is something inside of us, the savior, this inclination to rescue, that wants to finish one sentence to show them that we fully understand them, or we want to give an opinion or an advice, or we want to share something about us. And you know what? If you're a woman listening to that, I listened to this podcast one day and she said, give men time to talk and they will tell you when they are done talking, because our brain works differently. So they are single focused beings, so they need a moment to really let the story unfold. And I realized that with my partner, it's just so amazing. They really do tell you. She was saying that we should count until 30 in our heads, 30 seconds of silence, because the chances are they're gonna keep on talking and saying. And I practice that with my boyfriend, and I really see how it's so true. And then when he's done talking, he's actually telling me. So of course you can't be actively listening and be counting in your head. My point is, just give time and spaciousness for people to fully express what they have to say without giving any input. One of my amazing friend and mentor and coach, Victoria, also shared that in a podcast we recorded a long time ago. I think the podcast got actually lost and I lost the file, so the podcast never came out. But she shared this one thing that always stuck with me. In active listening, don't even nod or say yes, like, you know, acknowledging someone. Just really stay and receive. Because even when you're saying like, that's an input. That's a very hard one for me, but I'm trying to be better at practicing that. And finally, oh my God, this one is so juicy. The 7th factor that may prevent you from experiencing the kind of love, connection, and interactions you want to have is avoiding hard conversations because you're afraid of conflicts. And that is my story. Really, I was shit scared of people being mad at me, of conflict. I don't know if it's because I'm a Libra. I don't know if it's because I was just like so scared of, you know, people being uncomfortable, me being uncomfortable every time the tone of the voice is raised or someone is upset. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. So I totally get it. I always want everything to go smoothly and everyone to get along, and I just don't like conflict. But you know what? I've learned to love them. I've learned to honor conflict and to build safety within me so that I can be in conflict with people without feeling threatened, without feeling like the connection and the link between me and the other person is at risk, but knowing that conflicts are healthy and natural and they actually bring you closer together if you know how to handle them. Don't run away from the hard, tough conversation. Actually lean into it, not with like your full rage and wanting to hurt the other person, because also don't remember that some words hurt so deep they can't be taken back, and sometimes it's hard to recover from really, really harsh conflicts where it's completely unconscious and just crazy. But if you lean into conflict, if you actually sit down with your own emotions and you're receiving someone else and you don't have to agree, and you can dive into the hard stuff to say when you know you're gonna upset the other person, but you're gonna stand in your truth no matter what, I'm telling you, you're gonna experience the most amazing connections and partnerships and love and romance and friendships and everything. I've been so blessed to experience that with a roommate. We spent a year working on our conscious relationship. We were so committed to work on our relationship and our relationship patterns and our communication skills, and to sit down When one wanted to run away, when one was mad, like we got to sit with the discomfort of having someone angry, someone that is mad, someone that is upset and sad, and like all the spectrum of human emotions. And we only could do that because we spend a lot of time separately working on our own stuff and learning how to be comfortable with our own shadows. And that's something that I kept on doing and practicing with my now partner, with everyone in my life. I don't run away from conflict anymore. I don't try to create it either, because that's not really healthy. But when it's there, when we have hard conversations, uncomfortable conversations to have, just lean into it. They're not uncomfortable conversation. Maybe we can call them brave, courageous conversations where you really strengthen your heart muscle of like learning how to stay open when you most want to close. So to resume everything we shared in this video and how you can form deeper, more meaningful connections, try to remove all those obstacles. Maybe take a moment to journal about the 7 factors that we just mentioned and see how those factors are impacting you, your life, and your ability to connect. So just to recap, the 7 factors are technology and spending a lot of time on social media and behind the screen, past trauma and emotional baggage, being afraid of being vulnerable, the pace of your life, being super busy, constantly doing stuff, a lack of self-awareness, not actively listening, and avoiding hard conversation and conflict. So if you check that within yourself, I can assure you that you're gonna start to improve every single relationships you have, or you're gonna even be able to manifest love, 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 love. Can you tell this girl is so in love? Because I struggled for a long ass time in my dating life. I had 3 years of really going through the shadow and, you know, within myself, and terrible experiences and so many fears and traumas and challenges, and it sucked. It sucked. It was so bad. And I'm actually so grateful that it sucked that much, because now I get to share with you all the deep lessons that I have learned and how you can do it if yourself you are struggling with this, because I know the struggle so damn well, and I now experience the most juicy, sexy, amazing partnership. I can't stop talking about it to my friends every day, how grateful I am. I'm experiencing everything I always dreamed of. I don't want this to just be me. I want to be able to share it, because it means nothing if it's not shared, right? If you like this today and you felt inspired, or you just find some value in it, please share it with a friend, like this video, subscribe to the channel, write us a review, and most importantly, do not forget to join our email list, because I have a very juicy free masterclass for you to lean into your feminine energy, into your sensual self, which is ultimately gonna help you even deeper in forming meaningful connections, in having and sustaining and cultivating such an amazing, rich, nourishing relationship with yourself, so that you can open, soften, and surrender into your magnificence and your soft and surrendered self.